Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with Is the Ryder Cup scripted? Wow, I finally lost my marbles. But I tell you what, I'm excited by it. Because I tell you what, it's absolutely bonkers. Right, I'll be honest, since the events in 2020, I don't know if it's awoken me or I've just gone absolutely round the bend. I question everything now. As you're well aware, the TV's in the bin. Everything that would happen on the TV, I wouldn't even believe any of it because it's entertainment, everything that's going off. So I now question where we live, what's really happening, what have we been lied to about, why are we really here, and all that stuff. So a bit further down, you're going to see something that I've put together, ran through ChatGPT, and I think it could make a little bit of sense. I'll tell you what, I'm actually quite excited by it because I've actually adapted this to cover lots of sporting events and I've used AI. I've been busy while I've been quiet. I haven't just been emailing companies, I've been actually doing a bit of research. I'll tell you what, this is interesting. So I understand many people have got different opinions about everything. So this is mine. So you're going to see a little bit more in a minute. I'm going to firstly introduce what I put into ChatGPT. So basically, I'm looking for Ryder Cup. I'm thinking, are there um, are there patterns or historical patterns or things that may affect results? So let me get into it. So the Ryder Cup 2025 prediction. So it's at Bethpage Black, New York. So I am going to read some of the things that are just on there that you can see. So you're gonna have to bear with me. So here's the distilled readout. So basically, I'm not going to scroll up, but my SOP, my standard operating procedure or script of play, whatever you want to call it, has been pasted above, analysed by ChatGPT. I've also done the deep research. ChatGPT has done the deep research on it. This took about 20 minutes. I actually thought it would froze. And you're going to be astounded by the information. And so this prediction tool that I've created, I ran it through ChatGPT to predict 2025. And I said, right, thank you for predicting it. I shall tell you what it predicted in a minute. But what I am going to tell you is, I then said, ignore the results of previous tournaments of the Ryder Cup, but give me how you would have interpreted the numbers, the numerology, they're all the weighted aspects that I've put further down. Tell me your prediction. Do not base it on the result. So it gave it me, and then I asked it to compare versus the result and its prediction. And I do believe it got 8 out of 10 correct. So therefore, it's admitted it made two mistakes. But what I did do is, I said, right, is there any way you can analyze those two mistakes and basically prevent it from happening? Could you create a 10 out of 10 scenario so you would have predicted all of those right? And you'll be interested by the results that I got. So let's head further down. So uh, this is the information about the Ryder Cup 2025. So it all matters. So the dates 23rd to 28th of September. The venue Bethpage Black, New York. The length of the course, the par, and it's difficult. That doesn't really matter too much. But the captains, USA, Keegan Bradley, date of birth, age, and whatever. Yeah, they are also important. These have been used by ChatGPT. So symbolically, New York carries a strong 9/11 energy. And then I'm not a religious person, but I also think certain parts of the Bible is playing out. I don't believe the Bible as such. I think it's a script that the so-called people in charge are leading us to believe is happening. Um, yeah, if you know what I mean, it's hard to explain. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody that is religious, but what it's basically done, the Bible is, it's similar to movements from years ago. There was a Q movement. There was also something similar in, I don't know if it was World War One or World War Two or both. Basically, the Q movement was trust the plan. It was putting your faith into a third party and doing nothing. I also see this with the Bible. What they are saying is, I'm seeing so much. I'm waiting for Jesus to come back. Trust in Jesus, but they're not doing anything about it. They're just all they're actually doing is they're actually behaving themselves because that's what they've been told to do in the Bible. Yeah. So I believe it's another way of getting people just to not react to what is going on. It also happened in one of the wars. I can't remember which one it was. Could even be both of them, but I can't remember what they actually called it. But it was done something to do with either. I think it was MI5 that did it. Basically, it was something to do with trust. I think it was actually trust the plan, but a different version of it than the Q movement. And basically, people were literally waiting for people to save them while there was nobody coming. So I know it's gone a bit deep already, but trust me, you'll be excited by this. So this is a bit irrelevant to a degree. It's more the numbers that matter. But if you're looking for a bit of if you're looking into the players, it could mean a little bit more to you. But I'm going to give you my verdict at the end of what ChatGPT predicted and what it did in the previous years. So there's a list of the players, top players, date of birth, and whatever you tells you that Scheffler's in decent form or whatever. Numerology, Scheffler's birth digits sum to 9. Well, there are certain numbers that are very interesting. So you've got Europe there, also numbers interesting again. So this is a big factor for me. You've got the how many times do you watch events and they're referring to legends? Like you'll see a golf tournament, pretty much the Ryder Cup, and you when it's in Europe or in Spain, and you will see Seve Ballesteros everywhere. And then in the interviews after, we did it for Seve, and then you realise that they actually won the tournament. They were presented the trophy on Seve's birthday, that kind of thing. So Arnold Palmer, this is interesting. Arnold Palmer died the 25th of September. That is during this year's Ryder Cup. Friday actually, yeah. So it sits on his anniversary, heavy on US ancestral boost. So Seve Ballesteros remains Europe's spiritual talisman, but his anniversaries don't align with this event this week. So that's a bonus potentially if it tips the USA. Payne Stewart died 25th of October, is 26 years gone. Number 26 links faintly, but timing is a month off. Overall, legend weight still heavily towards the US. Forget that so far. We're not into the. So this is what I have based it on. So the standard operating procedure, the weighting outcome. So some things matter more than others. So this is basically how it's weighted. So it's through the lens of Apollyon. Apollyon numerology. So it's date reduces to 6. Man and Beast, New York, 9/11, Echoes give USA Beast energy. Legendary spirits, like past legends. Arnold Palmer, anniversary in mid cup, major US uplift. Core symbolism. So Bethpage's warning sign equals ritual humiliation potential, favours home team discipline. Form and ranking. So I've given this a low weight because I think sometimes the players are given too much. I know people will still think that the players make the difference. Do they really? Because how good a record has Tiger Woods got in some of these events? It's not very good. And I think it's also the same with Phil Mickelson. And at one point, they were number 1 and number 2 in the world, but they still had was it some kind of humiliation ritual? I know it sounds bonkers, but let's carry on. So no exact birthdays in play, but US home rituals are stronger. Weather or chaos possible events, 5%. Late September in New York, possible storms. Chaos risk gives Europe an outsider, like a miracle in Medina echo, but the odds are low. So the final prediction, this is just the start of it because it's even more interesting below. So the final prediction is the likeliest winner is Team USA. The expected scoreline 16.5 to 11.5. Obviously the runner-up, the run-up is Europe. It can't be on any other thing. So Europe with a spirited Saturday surge, but fading on Sunday. It's quite interesting that it's giving all this information. Could be absolute nonsense. So the shock scenario. If weather chaos or rules controversies invert Apollyon energy, Europe could sneak 15-13. So it's got to be chaos for them to win. And that's not my get out clause. So penalty red card chance. So what this is kind of like, it's not getting confused with it, but it's still using the terminology from when I used it in the football predictor. And I tell you what, hang on for that because you'll see another video possibly tomorrow because ChatGPT predicted 4 outcomes. All 4 were successful. I'm trying it again on Thursday night before I actually release my findings. So penalty, red card chance, 10% across matches. Slow play, wrong drops. Don't worry too much about that. Watch US rookies for possible humiliation events. So the final likelihood, so the 70% chance of USA victory, 25% Europe, and 5% it's a tie. So I'm not very good with the odds, but I would say that 8 to 11 current odds is much more generous than the 70% likelihood of the USA victory. So let's just go a bit further down because it's right. So this is what I did with the Ryder Cup SOP backtest. So it says last 10 editions. We went back 10 events. So let's just get a quick read. I ran your Ryder Cup Golf SOP version 1 against the past 10 cups. For each year, I note the actual result, then what the SOP would most likely have picked, and then whether it's a hit or miss. So this is actually using the SOP that, let's call it, we created. So let's go back the first 4 events, as you can see. So the venue is Marco Simone, Italy. Actual winner and score, SOP predicted Europe. Why? Home soil and course, ritual, crowd, energy was correct. All these prices, they're probably nothing worse than 1 to 2, even if they were the favourites. So 2021, USA 19, Europe 9, record margin. USA in brackets, home and beast energy, deep roster, good team basically. 2018, Europe 17.5, 10.5. We predicted Europe. Home and course symbolism. There is a lot more to it than this SOP likely pick and white. It's kept it very brief. I don't really want to go into too much detail. I can do, but it sounds bonkers. But I am prepared to do another video later on and explaining more. So let's go further down. So here you can see, even it's admitted its own mistake. So 2012, Europe won. It predicted USA. Why? Because of home and beast energy. Why was it wrong? So what did I say about this legends? Chaos inversion, Seve dedication noted in source. So it's crawled all the internet and they was referring back to the Seve inspiration. So that was the revival, and that is the only thing that are the dangers. And there's another one shortly. So you can see out of all those, 8 out of 10 were correct. That's enough to show a profit anyway. There's very, very few tipsters or people placing bets that have got an 80% strike rate. So what does this say about the SOP? Home energy is king. Your weighting, Apollyon numerology, and venue core symbolism naturally leans to the home team. Across 10 cups, that alone explains most outcomes. So don't get me wrong, there is a big home advantage. The 2 misses are instructive. So 2012 Medina, textbook chaos witness arc inversion. Europe explicitly rallied around Seve Ballesteros spirit. The official write-up cite the miracle at Medina comeback and dedication to Seve. Exactly the kind of legend event your SOP says can flip a script. But let me just remind you that the legend event this time around is in our favour. It's the Arnold Palmer, who died on the 25th. 2004 Oakland Hills. A comprehensive away win despite home energy, team coherence, and captaincy effects overwhelmed the default numerology home tilt. Your SOP would treat this as a rare ritual upset. The result and margin are clear in the record. 2010's rain stretch finished to Monday, and that is also where it was explained earlier on, where weather can cause a chaos. So the minimal tweaks I'd make if you want to sharpen. So this is what it did to correct itself. Flag known legend week. So if there is a legend that could be apparent during that time. So let's say Seve Ballesteros died at this time rather than Arnold Palmer. It could sway more towards the Europe winning it. Also, weather volatility. When official forecasts show multi-day delays, apply a chaos multiplier. So we've got all this is weighted, and then Number 3, home but fragile clause. If the home captaincy pairing discourse is negative in the lead up, example 2004, reduce home advantage by 5 to 10%. I do believe that was something to do with, I'm not sure, there may be some golfing experts, but I think that was something to do with Mickelson and Woods. Anyway, because they're all falling out. So it's given all these, it's cited Wikipedia basically. So bottom line for Bethpage, the backtest says your SOP mostly works as a direction signal and misses mainly when a legend chaos surge overrides. 2025 stacks home and Palmer Week resonance even harder than normal, unless a comparable explicit European legend dedication emerges during event week or the weather turns biblical. Quite funny they're using the word biblical. Your earlier call, USA 16.5, 11.5, still carries the highest likelihood. I am not predicting the score, I am predicting the outcome. Okay, add minimal tweaks, but give version 1 verdict and version 2 verdict. So there, it's what it's done. It's adjusted the weighting. So therefore, once it's adjusted the weighting, it would have corrected them all. So yeah. So what I did was also I applied it to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I don't think we went into. So anyway, final outcome, version 2, winner, Team USA, scoreline, about 16.5, 11.5. That's comfortable. Why? Home soil, Bethpage Black, New York, big advantage. Arnold Palmer's death anniversary, the 25th of September, falls right in the cup, equals massive US legends boost. Europe strong, Rory, Hovland, Aberg, but Rahm's Live XR weakens them. Unless there's a freak weather delay or scandal, the US energy is simply too aligned this time. So what it's done here, it's actually even given a breakdown. So all this is, I will be having a bet on the USA to win the Ryder Cup at 8 to 11. I'm tempted at 4 to 7, no tie, but then again, I'm not putting full faith in the SOP then. So Friday, opening foursomes, 4 balls. What the SOP says, home crowd and beast energy at the start, US fast out the gates. Why? Opening on Palmer's anniversary, the 25th of September, layers in ancestral king energy. Prediction, USA leads after day 1, something like 5-3. This is for entertainment purpose only, by the way. Saturday, middle sessions. What the SOP says, Europe usually fights back mid-cup, resurrection arc. Why? Seve's spirit often kicks in when Europe are behind. You will see this in the commentary. And I tell you what, if you hear it in the commentary, just have a wry smile. And Saturday tends to bring momentum swings. Prediction, Europe claws back in the afternoon, but USA still ahead. Scoreboard maybe something like 9-7 USA by nightfall. So Sunday, what the SOP says, Bethpage's closing stretch, 17th renewal and 18th completion favours closure energy. Why? With USA holding lead and Palmer's spirit behind them, they won't choke. Don't sound too certain. They probably won't choke. Prediction, USA wins enough singles to seal it comfortably. Final margin, 16.5, 11.5. Summary, most likely storyline, USA jumps out. Saturday, Europe rallies but can't quite flip it. USA slams the door shut with a singles win on the Sunday. Shock chance, only way Europe wins if it's heavy rain delays the weekend, which is the chaos arc, and Luke Donald turns into a Seve style dedication. Told you to bonkers. Right. So then they can see then I've asked it to create an eye-catching thumbnail, which it didn't. So let me know your thoughts. Not thoughts on the golf. I'm a bonkers, but no, I'm just trying. I've got some very interesting World Cup that I've ran it through the World Cup. I have ran it through the Super Bowl. I have ran it through Thursday night, Thursday the 18th. Is it Conference League? I think it is. So give me a like or a subscribe and stay tuned for the next Bonkers series. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.